All right, you guys, I'm leaving for the airport in like 15-ish minutes. Welcome to Q&A Italy edition. I thought I would answer some questions on my recent trip. There were so many questions and there's no way I can get through all of them, but let's answer some of the most important ones. All right, guys, Brian and I are just waiting to board this boat to head over to Procida. While that's happening, I thought I'd answer one of the questions. That crying baby. Okay, are you selling your pictures from other boudoir shoots you did with models and not clients? So this could mean any number of things, but I'll try to answer it in the most simple way possible. The only time I'm making money from photography is specifically with my boudoir clients. So if it's a model, 99% of the time I'm doing a trade shoot. So she gets pictures for free, I get a chance to share the pictures. I don't sell those pictures to magazines or publications. I don't charge the models to shoot with me because I'm getting so much out of it by putting them up on YouTube or sharing them on my Instagram or shooting something that I really want to do. So I don't charge, there's no typical money exchange with anything to do with modeling shoots.
First impression. This is ridiculous.
How do you be okay with upping your prices? I average $500 per shoot and I want/need $900 to $1,000 per shoot. This is a really good question. So there are basically two ways to do this. So the first, if you guys haven't watched yet the Photographer Spotlight with Alex Chalkley, we talk a lot about pricing. We talk a lot about money, a lot about pricing. So if you're interested in those things, definitely go watch that. It's 25 minutes, 30 minutes on just that topic alone. And basically there's two ways that you can do it. So the first way is to do it incrementally, which means a little bit at a time. So you can increase your prices just by $100 a shoot, $200 a shoot, something like that. And the other way to do it is just a super big jump all at once. I have always done it incrementally. So when I first started shooting, I think I was only charging $200 for a photo shoot and then $300 for an album. Then I slowly increased each of those. So that's one way to do it, is just a little bit at a time. The benefit of that is that you're not alienating your previous clients, but it can take you longer to get to your goals. The other way to do it is the way Alex Chalkley did it, which is she went from $200 a session to $1,500 a session. She says she walked around her living room for 2 weeks telling her practicing, I cost $1,500. It's $1,500 for your photo shoot. It's $1,500 for your photo shoot, over and over and over again, until she didn't freak out when she said it to somebody over the phone. And I love Alex for this reason. The benefit of that is that typically people who are spending more money, they'll respect your time a little bit more. They'll trust you a little bit more as a professional. But a negative is that there's fewer people that can book sessions for $1,500. And also you're gonna alienate all of your previous clients. So if you're worried about holding on to the people who were spending $500, you're gonna lose them. You've gotta be okay with that. So to wrap that question up, basically you can do it incrementally, just a little bit at a time, or just do a super massive jump and take that leap, hope it works. So we've got, how many images do you deliver on average after a session? So let's first start with how many images that I take during a session. So I take somewhere between 700 and 800 images a session usually. I know that's really high for a lot of boudoir photographers. That's just kind of the way I shoot and I guide, and then I narrow that down to about 60 to 80. So I'm really only showing about 10% of the images that I take. So if you feel like every one of your images has to be amazing, know that I only show about 10% of what I shoot. After that, after they view those pictures, the minimum purchase really for an album is about 14 photos, and then they can purchase up to all of them. But that's 700 to 800 is what I shoot, 60 to 80 is what I show, and then kind of minimum purchase is around that 14 image mark. All right, good morning guys. It's a beautiful day here in Procida. Flew the drone just a minute ago. So let's just do some rapid fire questions. Here we have, what is your favorite portrait lens? If you guys haven't seen my lens video, I'm gonna link it above, but that kind of explains that the 50mm is my go-to portrait lens. While I'm traveling and stuff like this, I'm definitely taking a lot of pictures with my 35mm because it shows the scene. But the scene isn't as important to me when I'm shooting portraits, in my studio. So it's pretty much all 50mm. Do I need pro gear to do what you do? I have a Sony a6000 and a Nikon D 7,000. I've got another question here. Is an A6000 good enough for boudoir? So yes, you're just shooting on a crop sensor, so I recommend picking up a 35mm lens. The benefits of the full frame are a little bit the dimension, a little bit the depth of field, but overall, like boudoir, you don't need crazy good autofocus systems. You don't need super amazing low light capabilities. You don't need amazing tracking. Like a lot of things that you might need for like weddings or event photography or sports photography, you don't really need for boudoir. So I would say that an A6000 or a Nikon D7000 would be more than enough to get your boudoir business started. What playlist are you rocking at your shoots currently? So I'll tell you, my editing playlist that I put together is my chill, no naps though playlist. I'll link that in the bottom. It's a Spotify playlist that I made. I put together a boudoir shoot playlist as well. I'll go ahead and link that below. It's not perfect. It's got about 30 tracks, but it's fun music. It's not too dancey. It's not too slow. It's good energy. It's fun, you know. So I've been using that mostly. Please advise what you include on the collections. I give digitals but sell albums and big prints. So I don't really do collections as much. I mean, it's mostly a la carte. There's collections. You get more as you go up. But I'm a pretty simple person. I don't do a whole lot of like crazy products. I pretty much have digitals, wall art, and albums. You can add more things than that if you want, like the picture viewer. You know, you have the little circle and you click the button and it spins it and you hold it up to light. That's cool, but I'm not really into that, and so I haven't included it. My pricing is pretty simple. Here's a really good one. How often do you use liquify? The answer is never. I used to use liquify a lot when I first got started, but I don't ever use liquify now. I can't remember the last time I did. There's like a super rare scenario if the girl comes in with like underwear that doesn't fit her and it's super tight on her skin, and I knew she just brought in the wrong size. I probably won't liquify before the reveal. Just let her know kind of when we're going through editing. That's something that I can change. Other than that, I don't use liquify because it's not really that an empowering experience if you have to like shrink them skinnier to make them like a picture of themselves. If you're liquifying your pictures a lot, you're basically telling that person they need all of this editing before they look good. This version of yourself, the picture that I took, is not a picture of yourself that I think you would like. So instead, I'm going to make you skinnier. I'm going to make your butt more round. I'm going to any of those things that you would do. I don't think it's a very empowering thing to do. You know, when they get those pictures back, I want them to say, that really is me. You didn't need to change the shape of my body for me to see myself as this beautiful person. I think that's part of the problem with photography and imagery, is that everybody's artificially making themselves look a certain way. So I am anti-liquify. Work on your posing, work on your lighting, and then the rest will, first of all, it'll save you a ton of time. And secondly, you'll be able to tell that person, I didn't change your body at all. This is actually what your body looks like. And that's an uplifting thing to be able to hear. And that's why I'm doing this in the first place. Okay, I think that's enough questions for this morning. We're gonna get the day started and see what we find on this little island. Let's answer 2 quick questions here. So first, hi, I'm Italian guy. I love your shots. Why are you in Italy? So we're just really here mostly on vacation. Brian's got a few things to shoot other than me right now. But I had a gap in shoots between my last one in May and my first couple in June. So we just decided to take advantage of this little time. How much of the work you do is actually taking pictures, not emailing clients, planning, etc.? I would say somewhere around 5 to 10%. I think this is gonna be pretty common for most photographers. You know, you're shooting, but it takes me about 7 hours from start to finish with a client, from when I respond to their email, send out their contract, they come in for hair and makeup, photo shoot, editing, sales session, designing their album, shipping out their album. That's about 7 hours start to finish. But then there's website maintenance, there's doing your search engine optimization if you do that. I have to get the studio ready. I have to email out clients for if I want to run a sale, something like that. Anything, my Instagram page is a ton of work to be able to keep that up and looking good. So somewhere around there, I think you're gonna find that's gonna be pretty common with most photographers. How do you build confidence in those who have not modeled before? That's almost all of my clients. So again, Boudoir is photographing of everyday women, typically somebody who's never been in front of the camera before. Glamour, the stuff I shoot for YouTube, that's all of models, so that I don't have to worry about getting them comfortable while I teach you guys something. I would say there's two parts really. So the first is showing them that you're the professional. You're going to be taking care of the work. It's not up to them to see whether or not the pictures turn out well. The more you can convince them of that, the more they'll trust you and the more relaxed they'll be. The next thing is something that takes a lot of time, a lot of shooting. I would say 50 shoots, 100 shoots. If you guys are on your first couple, you're gonna be so focused on your camera, you're not really gonna get a chance to read what's happening in the room. Do their shoulders tense up? They're less comfortable. Do they sigh a huge sigh of relief? That means they're getting more comfortable. So what I would do is, for me, I laugh a lot. I try and be funny. I do whatever I can to be funny, to get them to laugh. That eases a lot of tension. And when I get a good picture on the back of the camera, I show them. So those are a couple of the big things. So show that you're a professional, keep it light and fun, get them laughing, and show them a good picture on the back of the camera. All those things will get them to trust you more, will ease the tension. They'll be able to see firsthand they're actually going to like the pictures. And that releases a whole bunch of tension and opens them up way more to being more comfortable for the rest of the shoot. So many seagulls here. It's our last night in Procida, so I think I'll answer a few more questions. Another one is, where do I get my music from? So I use my music from this company called Epidemic Sound. So anything that you've heard on my YouTube channel is all from there. They've got a killer database. I've been using them for about maybe 7 or 8 months, and I can't recommend it enough. Favorite feature is they've got a similar song button. So if you found one that you like and you don't want to do the searching again, you just hit that similar song button. It shows you some similar songs. It's exactly what it sounds like. So there's a link if you guys need music for your videos, you know, whatever that may be, in the description. How do you stay motivated? Do you ever get bored? Do you have an answer for this one, Brian? How do you stay motivated? How do you stay motivated to do the things that aren't as fun?
I would say, like, I put enough work in that I know the fun things are coming, and I have to deal with, like, the minutia or the middle ones in between. But realistically, yeah. I mean, like, I have, you know, certain weddings that I'm not 100% pumped on, but I know I have some really incredible weddings coming up next year that kind of make up for the boring times in between. Like, say in 20 emails, one email is like arranging the property in Italy that we're shooting at in like 3 days. So as long as there's some excitement mixed in with, you know, all of the regular stuff, it gives me something to look forward to.
Thanks, Brian, for your good answer. Do I ever lose motivation? Do I ever get bored? So obviously yes to both of those things, but these are my three. I'm just going to answer this question in 3 parts. The first is to get an alarm clock of seagulls, and those seagulls will wake you up and get you motivated to so the first is to detach yourself. So we're here in Italy. This place is crazy. I'm both like shutting off my brain, and I'm getting more inspired by the light here and the pastel colors of the city and the different language and all of these things. When I went to France 2 years ago, I came back and I used some of the textures that I found there, some of the branding that I saw in France, to use in my current business. My pricing guide are different French words and cities and things like that. So the first thing is detach yourself. So for me, after I haven't been working for 4 or 5 days, I get crazy motivated to just like get back to LA, get to work, grow my business. So that's the first way that I do it, detachment. The second thing that I do is add variety, change something up. So for me, that might be buy a new piece of gear, the times at which I have created a new interesting song are usually if I've downloaded some new plugin or some new sound. If I'm creating a new travel video, it's usually I have picked up a new lens or a new camera or something to do that. Or it could be to rent a new space to shoot. So shooting up in Malibu, when I did that was a way to just kind of get outside of my comfort zone and try something new and try something fun, stay motivated. So for you guys, you might do the same, find somebody new to shoot, travel to a new place to shoot something, just a different location within your town. Message somebody to photograph something not for work that you can just try some things and fail at some things and see what happens. And the third thing I put in my video on the from 5K to 50K subscribers, but it's basically to change the what you describe as success. So for me, I've changed from the result, the outcome, to the action of doing. So for you guys, make your idea of success making that post on Instagram, updating your website, changing your contact page like I said in the last video. Any of these things are within your control, and place your idea of success on the action of doing those things, not on the result that comes from them. We're out of here, Prochita. Off to Ichia. Welcome to Ichia. Alright, it has been raining since we got to Ichia, so I haven't wanted to film that much because it's not as pretty. So right now we are headed to the castle. Alright, this place is amazing. There's some more questions up here on this ridiculous castle. So the first question is, what year was this castle built? Oh, well, that's a really good question. And the answer to that is 474 BC. BC. I cannot even build a popsicle stick house. The next question is, what was one thing you struggled with when first starting your boudoir business? I would say honestly, it was getting the poses that I wanted because I was afraid to ask for them. So if there was a shot that I wanted to do that was like maybe more risque than we were shooting, I would get really nervous about how to ask that person to get into that pose or to like remove an item of clothing to get that particular shot. I was so nervous about it that my pictures weren't very risque when I first started. I just didn't know how to communicate that to the client. So I would say that's probably the thing that I struggled with the most when I was first starting, is just getting the more risque shots that I wanted in my head, but didn't know how to articulate. And actually over the last couple of years, I figured out like my script for how to approach that situation. And it's in the Boudoir Accelerator course because I know this is something that a lot of people struggle with. They know what they want to shoot. They're just afraid to ask the client to do so. And so I figured out this really unintrusive way of being able to do that. So Brian got this mega hookup with this venue, dress designer, hair and makeup artist, model, and now we are here in Sorrento just for the day, pretty much just for the shoot, and this view is insane. I just want to take a quick moment while she's changing her outfit to answer one more question. So this question is, have I ever been a model for boudoir? Yes, actually. I think it's really important if you're a, for whatever it is you do, if you give a service, you should go out and experience that thing. So if you sell jewelry, you should go out and buy some jewelry. If you're a hair and makeup artist, you should hire somebody to do your hair and makeup. That way you can experience kind of what it is that you're giving. The things you don't like, you'll realize right away. The things you do like, you'll realize right away. Then you can start to incorporate that into your own business. So that's what I did. I said, if I'm going to be shooting women in a place that they've never been, with a person they've never met, in a super vulnerable scenario, I should experience that same thing to understand what it is that they're going through. So that's what I did, and it was a fun experience. I learned a lot, actually. And I haven't done that in that was about 5 years ago. I should probably do another one. But yes, I absolutely recommend any boudoir photographer, put yourself in that same situation. It's gonna improve your business. All right, that wraps it up, you guys. I hope you found this helpful. I'm thinking about doing much shorter versions of this, like 5 minutes instead of 20 minutes. If that's something that you would like to see, definitely comment down below. If you found this really helpful, go ahead and give that video a like, and I'm looking forward to many more.